Greetings and welcome to Talk to Me America, where the world wants to know what you have to say. So call me in a few minutes and tell them like it is. I know people are going to want to talk about this subject I'm talking about today because everyone's talking about it, and it is actually something that everyone should be talking about and staying steadfast about as well. So, all right, everything seems to be working properly. Wow, what a delay over here on Rumble, but at least Rumble is working. Okay, that one's good. That one's good. All right. There it is. Everything's working. Good, good, good. All right. Welcome. Welcome to the show. It's Thursday night once again, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Time yet again for another Talk to Me America call-in talk show. Again, where the world wants to know what you have to say. And should be, especially right now. Everything's getting all tense and tedious over the midterms coming up next Tuesday. And a lot of speculation, a lot of polls, a lot of bullshit as usual. A lot of showy, a lot of mudslinging, and etc. and etc. Anyway, I'm Lord Goddess, your hostess. Thank you for clicking on my little acre of the internet today. You guys know how to support the channel. I am still trying to work on something other than PayPal, but I do have Ko-fi down there, which comes highly recommended by Pastor Chatelet. We can't hear you, of course. It's always something. Actually, no, I don't have myself muted. Let me reset the stream real quick. I don't know why this does this to me all the time. Can you hear me now? How about on YouTube? How am I doing on YouTube? I got one person over there. All right. Am I back yet? Am I back yet? Hello? Audio not working on Odysee. Yes, I see that, Drunken Rocky. Is it better? I just reset the stream. Hello? Mine's buffering. Hello? There I am. Okay. You can hear me now. You should be able to hear me now. All right. So I got to start over. All right. Greetings and welcome to the Talk to Me America show, where the world wants to know what you have to say. So call me later and tell them like it is. A lot of people are going to want to talk about this stuff tonight. I am sure of. Everyone is talking about it, and this is something actually everyone should be talking about and staying steadfast about. Welcome to the show. I'm Lord Goddess, your hostess. Thank you for clicking on my little acre of the internet today. You guys, not trying to be superior or anything like that. It's just that the people on the other two platforms have already heard all of this. But we're all caught up now with, thankfully you guys told me in enough time. You guys know how to support the channel. Links are below. Don't worry about the PayPal. I've got Ko-fi on there, which actually comes highly recommended by Pastor Chatelet. And of course you can super chat me on both Rumble and Odysee. I'm still not sure how to get a hold of the money on Rumble, but I'm sure that they won't steal it from me. Maybe not. I don't know. I have no idea. Let's see. And on the second stream, LDG created audio and it was good. Thank you. Let's see who we got here. Everybody's... I hear that I am competing against the Orange Man tonight, which, okay, whatever. I'm sure that there's a lot of people that are actually live feeding right now. In fact, I saw quite a few on YouTube. So yeah, a lot of people are playing right now. I appreciate everyone that's here tonight. I don't blame you if you go back and forth or if you go to Trump. But to be honest with you, you know what he's doing. He's campaigning, last minute campaigning for his candidates. As far as that goes, he's going to Iowa tonight, which is fine. He's probably going to say some of the same things In fact, if he doesn't mention something about what I'm about to talk about tonight, then he's not paying that close of attention. But he also, this needs to get out there. These people are trying to get out from underneath this, and we can't let them do that. But as I say, I'll discuss that. Let me see. I got Can Killer, Sergeant Tripod, Salty Matt Jameson, Fud, fuck you, dude. Feisty Ace, oh, thank you so much for being here. Bin Band. Oh, Rocky, my drunken Rocky. Of course, he'll be on after my show tonight. Don't forget to go and see The White Pill. Did I see Gray Man? The Gray Man is here. Thank you, Bin Band. Well, sweeties, thank you so much for being here tonight. I do appreciate that. It's Trump is a hard person to compete against, but he does say the same things pretty much in all of his shows. In fact, that's what they keep bitching about it in the mainstream media. He keeps telling the big lie, the big lie. There's been no proof. Blah, 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 blah. All right. So, anyway, thank you, Feisty Ace. Loved you on Reverend Rant's show when we had it when you did that the other day. In case you didn't hear me tell you that a couple of weeks ago. All right, my plugs, of course. My Metal Man 451 Actual. He's on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Pastor Chatelet, as always, he's one of my mods, and he seems to be the glue in our little network here. Red Dawn Radio, which of course you guys saw the cool sweatshirt that I won from him, the hoodie. That was really cool. I haven't worn it out yet. It hasn't been cold enough. DJ Brandrek, the Rockstar, Drunken Rocky, of course, don't forget his show tonight. Raynoth, Axe Truth, DJ Based, Racist, Dark Trainee, a.k.a. Kevin, 2 Minutes to Midnight, Magical Trevor. I'm sorry if I missed anyone. This is why I'm actually asking people to do snippets or, stingers or commercials or something like that for me or for you. That way I'll never forget that you're part of our network, and I'll be able to shout you out. And of course, don't forget Rougarou. He's the one that actually keeps a schedule for all of us, and it's interactive. You can click on whomever's and go to their show and everything, and check out all of their tidbits and stuff. He's even got an on-air tag. You can go and see exactly what's on air in our little network right at this very moment. There's me. Okay. And of course, like I say, I'm still waiting on any, like I said, stingers. Hell, I'll even take not GIFs, memes. I'll even take memes of myself. I like being memed. But yeah, I want to get your stingers and your commercials to incorporate them in my show. I'm trying to support you guys as much as you guys support me as far as that goes. And of course, you can send them down to my email, which is scrolling below me, which also the number to call when I tell you to is scrolling below me as well. That's where you'll call me when I tell you to. Salty Matt Jameson, welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. I try to keep up with this. You guys are so fast on this chat sometimes, though. Wow. And I'm reading 4 things at a time, so. All right. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for helping me. I actually paid for the rest of it, but helping me getting my new chair. I have an awesome chair. It's kind of like an executive type of chair, except for it's like really tall, like for drafting. But I mean, it has like tons of bells and whistles. It's made with it's steel made. It's very heavy. It should probably be one of the last chairs that I ever purchased. The seat actually is long enough for my long thighs. In fact, it slides out to fit my long thighs, which holds my legs up, which is such an improvement on my back and my neck for some dumb reason. Adjustable armrests, both up and down, and like in and out and circular and all of that. Just, I guess, in case you're duck armed. I don't know. Maybe it moves with you if you're drawing or something like that. But it's nice and tall. In fact, it goes very tall. it goes to where my knees actually hit my desk, and my desk is pretty tall. I don't have a drafting desk, but it's like in between a regular desk and a drafting desk. So thank you so much. It has actually helped. I've been able to actually sit here for the last 2 days and work for longer than 30 minutes at a time before having to go, that stool sucked. Not to mention the fact, like I said before, it was hard on the rear end. And it was old. So now, like I say, I can do more work. All right. I actually got a fantastic deal on it. And I discovered I guess what you might call another alternative economy. A little bit by accident. And of course, I found this place on the internet. They had a beautiful website, all pictures of these really fancy, taller chairs, and then, it seemed like, and it seems like this particular guy that gets this stuff goes to these auctions or these sales for these big offices that actually have to or do replace their furniture every year. Because, I mean, this is brand new. It literally has the tag on it. I looked it up. It was a $1,400 chair, and I only paid $450 for it, cash. And it was a, I won't say shady deal, but cash meant I got like one hell of a more discount, because he was originally going to charge me $570, I think it was, which still is phenomenal. It's a third of the original price. And like I say, this thing still has the freaking tag on it. I guess it's the owner manual tag or whatever. I'm not going to take it off. I'm going to leave it for now. So, thank you so much. Like I say, I paid for half of it, but I appreciate you guys helping me. And I really, I was laid up for a couple of days this week because I woke up one morning and I couldn't move the right side of my body because my nerve was pinched. It was painful. I was laid up. I was like, oh. So it's better. It's actually better. I'm a little sore, but it's actually better just sitting here properly with the proper height and the proper height for the mouse and all that other stuff. I'm not having to hold my arm out from a wobbly stool with no back and no way to no way to hold myself up and everything like that. I should have abs of steel, but I don't. But yeah, it's really actually, it's also too, it's really amazing how the Lord works, and you guys help provide things that I really need. I got a fantabulous chair that, like I say, retail was almost $1,600, which blows my mind. But when you see all the bells and whistles and all the movements and everything else, and the fact that it's steel, it's not made out of plastic, it's really nice. I don't know what this feels like. Leather. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I didn't read the brochure on it or anything like that. I sat in it and wiggled in it and moved around the stuff, and he showed me all the bennies and everything. Like, it's like, psh, sold. We got it home, and it's like, I could sleep in it if I need to. So thank you all once again. Lumbar support. Yeah, actually the lumbar support, you take these two little tabs and move them up and down to your lumbar and everything like that. And I can move it down if I want to push my tailbone in just a little bit more or anything like that. Just take these two. It's really got all the bells and whistles in it. And thank you. I am feeling much better. I had to miss out on, I was so bad I had to miss out on my gospel sing this Tuesday. Everybody was disappointed. I was disappointed, but I couldn't move. Singing was out of the question. And I wasn't about to go bumping around down our shitty roads in the car feeling that way either. Oh no. But lots of Ben Gay, lots of those little heating patty things and everything like that, and just sitting in a certain position and trying not to move too much, because boy oh boy, the muscles grip and they don't want to let go sometimes. All right, let's see. Okay, I'm going to open the phone lines now, because like I said before, I think everybody should have an opinion on this, and I know that a lot of people have a lot to say about this. I know I do. In fact, the first part of this is going to be rather long, but it bears saying, and it bears saying again and again and again, we mustn't forget this. All right, phone lines are open. All right. I'm probably, you guys have probably heard a bunch about this, but this actually affects me personally as well. And when I first saw it, it's like, God, I can't wait till Thursday because I'm going to let this person have it. And everybody else that has done what they've done to people that even questioned the science. The Atlantic Magazine article. Now, I noticed they published this on Halloween. That was Monday, I think. Right? They published this on Halloween. By Emily Oster, which she's a piece of work, as we find out as well. She was one of the ones that was advocating the most for exiling and possibly starving to death, as was Noam Chomsky, whatever his name was. That old fuck that was ready to have people removed because they questioned the science. But I'm wondering why, why was she afraid of, now is she afraid of getting tricked on this unholiest of days? Trick or treat. If you don't give a treat, you get tricked, whatever like that. To be honest with you, this article should have been published on April Fool's Day, because from what I've seen and all the people that have commented on this, it's about as much quarter as all of them give to this right now. All right, and because this is what most people are thinking about it. Is she kidding here? Is she kidding? Let's declare a pandemic amnesty. How convenient for you. Let's focus on the future and fix the problems we still need to solve. Oh, you mean like slavery? Let's read. October 31st, 2022, The Atlantic. Written by, like I say, Emily Oster. Wonder how many times she's been jabbed. In April 2020, with nothing else to do, my family took an enormous number of hikes. Okay. We all wore cloth masks that I had made myself. We had a family hand signal which the person in front would use if someone was approaching on the trail and we needed to put on our masks. Oh, so you weren't wearing your masks, you just went out there with them, just in case, right? Okay, making sure that I'm not missing anybody. Limited access, thank you. Bruin Backhand, welcome to the show. I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm very passionate about this subject. Let me make sure. Let's see, anybody on Rumble? There's 8 people. Welcome. Welcome, everybody on Rumble. All right, we go on. Let's see. Once when another child got too close, my then 4-year-old son on a bridge, he yelled at her. He yelled at her. Social distancing! 4 years old. 4. 4-year-olds don't come up with this crap on their own. You know that. These precautions were totally misguided. You think? In April 2020, no one got the coronavirus from passing someone else hiking. Outdoor transmission was vanishingly rare. Like one detail, and it wasn't even confirmed, so 0. Outdoor transmission was vanishingly rare. Our cloth masks made out of old bandanas wouldn't have done anything anyway, but the thing is, we didn't know. Yeah, right. Actually, you probably knew, you just didn't want any of the rest of us to know. I have been reflecting on this lack of knowledge thanks to a class I'm co-teaching at Brown University on COVID. We've spent several lectures reliving the first year of the pandemic, discussing the many important choices we had to make under conditions of tremendous uncertainty. Some of these choices turned out better than others. Oh yeah, which? To take an example close to my own work, so I guess this is all anecdotal now, there is an emerging, if not universal, consensus that schools in the United States were closed for too long. No shit, Sherlock. The health risks of in-school spread were relatively low. No shit, Sherlock. In fact, that was actually one of the things that made me question this the most. Children weren't susceptible to this, and they didn't pass it. And that was the weirdest thing, because it was so opposite, because children are petri dishes. I mean, when your children get sick, usually the entire household gets sick. Yeah, I'm with you, Salty Mad Jameson. I'm not okay with this, and I'll go on. Let's go on. To take an example, close my. There is an emerging, if not universal, consensus that schools in the U.S. were closed for too long. Yeah, consensus and universal. Now all of a sudden it goes along with their narrative, and they're okay with it. The health risks of the in-school spread were relatively low, whereas the costs to students' well-being and educational progress were high. You don't think that wasn't on purpose, though? You know, they have to replace their voters with somebody, and it seems like their plot of the border down there is not working as well as they thought it would. The latest figures on learning loss are alarming, but in spring and summer 2020, we had only glimmers of information. We already knew this about children. Children basically have their main learning where they just absorb everything and can learn anything and everything like that between the ages of 9 months and 4 years. That's when they learn their actual basics and all of that other, to where they can start doing the things they need to do throughout life. So we knew that already. And you decided to take that away from them anyway. Let's see. Spring or summer. But in spring and summer of 2020, we had only glimmers of information, which was bullshit. Reasonable people who cared about their children and teachers, advocated on both sides of the reopening debate. Yeah. And the ones that advocated on the side of reopening were shut down most of the time. Another example, when the vaccines came out, we lacked definitive data on the relative efficacies of the Johnson & Johnson shot versus the mRNA options from Pfizer and Moderna. The mRNA vaccines have won out. But at the time, many people in public health were either neutral or expressed a J&J preference. Yeah, because they know Johnson & Johnson. Johnson & Johnson has been a household name for over 100 years. Moderna and the other one, they sounded like, chip distributors. Especially when you got an mRNA vaccine, which is actually an oxymoron. This misstep wasn't nefarious. It was the result of uncertainty. No, it wasn't. Obviously, some people intended to mislead and made wildly irresponsible claims. Oh, you mean like yourself? Is this you admitting this crap? Remember when the public health community had to spend a lot of time and resources urging Americans not to inject themselves with bleach? No, I don't remember that at all. The only people I remember talking about that were the mainstream media, people like Stelter and Cuomo and all these other idiots that took yet another quote of Trump's out of context. He never actually told anyone to do that. What he did was ask the experts at the table if something like that might be possible. So, no, I don't remember that, my friend. I don't. And I'm not going to let you try and talk me into that fact that ever happened. In fact, there's video all over the place that it did not. That was bad. I agree. It was bad for you people to start to lie about that bullshit. Misinformation was and remains a huge problem. I agree. You're one of the main perpetrators of it. Why aren't you doing something about it instead of this? But most errors were made by people who were working in earnest for the good of society. Bullshit! Given the amount of uncertainty, which is also bullshit, these people knew this stuff. There's papers out there and things out there saying that this vaccine was available in 2017. In fact, even I think Jimmy Dore talked to the person that actually invented the mRNA. And he said the same thing. He was appalled that they're using it for this. And on every topic, someone was eventually proved right and someone else was proved wrong. Yeah, you guys and us guys. In some instances, the right people were right for the wrong reasons. Wait, what? In some instances, the right people were right for the wrong reasons. Anybody order a word salad sandwich here? What the hell? That was that was the most inane statement I think I've ever heard. These people call themselves journalists. They barely can write, much less anything else. In other instances, they had a precedent understanding of the available information. Yeah? Yeah, we did. Again, not to mention the fact how many people actually lied to us. How many times did Fauci flip-flop? Oh, masks, no masks, don't masks. They might keep out a droplet or two, but it's not going to take care of all of it. And you have to have the proper and this and that. And then he goes, oh, well, if one mask does good, then the other mask, then you should wear 2 or 3 after that. No! Bruin backhand. Yes, that's correct. They tried censoring Dr. Malone. Joe Rogan even got heat for interviewing him to simply ask questions. So did Jimmy Dore. They wrote smear articles about these people. I mean, put it this way. I call what they do to these people now about all this stuff the Trump treatment. Because this is exactly what they did to Trump. Lied about him, smeared him, investigated him on bullshit charges that were never, that they keep pushing that were verified and all this other stuff. Yeah, they live in fantasy land. They do. Let's see. Old Salty Dog, welcome to the show. I appreciate. I do a great Fauci impersonation or impression. Thank you very much. Maybe I might make a stinger with it. I don't know. All right. Let's see. The people who got it right for whatever reason may want to gloat. You mean the people that have been questioning this shit and asking questions and researching and having personal experiences and all this other stuff while asking questions? You mean that reason? You mean that reason? And I'm not going to gloat here. No, I'm not going to gloat. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Those who got it wrong for whatever reason, following the science, may feel defensive and retrench into a position that doesn't accord with the facts. You mean continue pushing the vaccines and continue pushing the mandates and all this other stuff? In fact, that was another thing Jimmy Dore had mentioned. He's you guys know Tim, the guy that went out with Susan Sarandon for so long. He's one of the big stars and everything like that. He's basically has said and came out on social media. I haven't had time to look it up. I'm going by what he said. But he's come out and he's actually said he's talked to him. Tim Robbins came out and said that they still have a lot of these mandates and everything like that to be able to make movies and stuff in California. People still have to wear the mask. People still have to get they're still mandating all this stuff in some of these places. So yeah, they are what did she call it? Retrenching into a position that doesn't accord with the facts. Another word salad sandwich that basically said, we're going to double down no matter what you say or prove. All of this gloating and defensiveness continues to gobble up a lot of social energy and to drive the culture wars, especially on the internet. Oh, you're worried about that now? Are you? Are you? You're worried about that now? You're worried about the fact that you're going to lose actually everything because the facts have came out and you went along with the wrong side? Not to mention the fact that since you probably are vaccinated, what you have to worry about with that in the future? Are you? These discussions are heated, unpleasant, and and ultimately unproductive. I disagree. In other words, she's telling you, shut up, whatever side you're on, shut up, let's just let it go and move on so that we can do this shit to you again. In the face of so much uncertainty, getting something right had a hefty element of luck. Nah, fuck you. This person, another person that lives in La La Land, none of this shit has anything to do with luck. There is no such thing as luck. And similarly, getting something wrong wasn't moral failing. No, it was lies. You lied to us through all of it. And then when we questioned it, you wanted us dead. Treating pandemic choices as a scorecard on which some people racked up more points than others is preventing us from moving forward. No, it isn't. It's preventing us from you doing this shit to us again. We have to put these fights aside and declare a pandemic amnesty. What's this we shit? We can leave out the willful purveyors of actual misinformation while forgiving the hard calls that people had no choice but to make with imperfect knowledge. Oh, you mean, like, let's see, I don't know. You mean the people that, you're forgiving the people that you, wanted to exile? You're forgiving the people that, you wanted to force this or have them lose their jobs so they couldn't feed their children. You want to forgive these people that you ridiculed and wanted to exile? Is that what it is? Really? I don't think they have anything to be forgiven for. In fact, the majority of them tried their best to stay the fuck away from people like you. Because that's what you wanted. Los Angeles County closed its beaches in summer of 2020, which was stupid. It probably lost them a whole hell of a lot of revenue. Ex post facto, this makes no more sense than my family's masked hiking trips. Oh, 2020 is hindsight. Oops! Ex post facto. Really? Now she's trying to sound smart here? But we need to learn from our mistakes and then let them go. No! You don't learn from mistakes by letting them go. We need to forgive the attacks too, because I thought schools should reopen and argued that kids as a group were not at high risk. So what? You want a medal? In the meantime, you were ridiculing and bashing everyone and smearing everyone else. You don't get credit for that. No. I was called a teacher killer and a genocidaire. Welcome to the club. It wasn't pleasant, but feelings were high, and I certainly don't need to dissect and rehash that time for the rest of my days. I'm not going to forget it. And if you forget it, that means you plan on doing it again. And I'm not going to let you. Moving on is critical now because the pandemic created many problems that we still need to solve. Oh yeah? I wonder if this Tuesday and what they're saying about the red tsunami and the red wave and all this other has anything to do with this article right here. With what these people want now. Oh God, you guys are fixing to be in power. Oh, you can't hurt us. We didn't mean it. You didn't get to go to your family's funeral. You didn't get to spend the last minutes with some of your older relatives or anything like that. But we didn't know. Not an excuse. In fact, if the law gets involved, ignorance of the law doesn't make an excuse for you to get out of it either. Let's see. Student test scores have shown historical declines. Yeah, probably since the 1970s. More so in math than in reading, and more so for students who were disadvantaged at the start. Who would that be? The ones that were jammed together in the cities and closed down the schools and churches? We need to collect data, experiment, and invest. That's all the government ever does. Collect data, experiment, and invest in more collection of data and experiments. Believe me. Is high dosage tutoring more or less cost effective than extended school years? Why have some states recovered faster than others? We should focus on questions like these because answering them is how we will help our children recover. On that topic, let's see. The states that recovered faster than the other ones tended to be the red states that actually let people live their lives and didn't hold them, even though all of them did have lockdowns at one point. But once they started letting their people do the things that they needed to do again, the cities got better, everything got better. The children didn't go to waste, all that other stuff and everything like that. But these were the same people that were calling those states at the time murderers. You're murdering everybody. You're going to kill everybody with this. Now, all of a sudden, they want our help. Do you think they would listen to it if we gave it to them? And actually, we've been spewing our help all this time, and they've told us to fuck off. I think a lot of us have listened. Many people have neglected their health care over the past several years. Yeah, because you kept telling people that the hospitals were overwhelmed. Don't go. They won't have room for you. Especially if you're not vaccinated. Notably, routine vaccination rates for children for measles, pertussis, etc. are way down. Again. Rather than debating the role that messaging about COVID vaccines had in this decline, we need to put all our energy into bringing these rates back up. Pediatricians and public health officials will need to work together on community outreach, and politicians will need to consider school mandates. How about no? You've done enough damage. These people have done enough damage already as it is. Again, you want to apologize, but you still want to give the power to all of these people that fucked us like this in the first place. Absolutely not. The standard saying is that those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. Yeah, and that's all you've been telling us. Forget history. Forget about this. Oh, this was okay. We didn't know. Just forget about it. No! It doesn't make you innocent of this crap. It still happened. Someone still has to be held accountable. But dwelling on the mistakes of history can lead to a repetitive doom loop as well. No! It actually teaches you what you don't want to do the next time. The perpetual doom loop is when you keep doing the same shit over and over and over and over again and expecting a different result. Let's acknowledge that we made complicated choices in the face of deep uncertainty, and then try to work together to build back and move forward. Commie! That's exactly a commie statement right there. Oh, we did all this stuff to you, but you should forgive us. We didn't mean it. You guys' lives are terrible, miserable, and probably irreparable, but we didn't mean it. Just let it go. I believe, again, like I say, she's writing this article because she's one of the main people that was writing during the time about the division of the vaxxed and the unvaxxed, just as an example. Other folks have highlighted her tweets about how we needed mandates and that folks that don't get vaxxed should be shunned, excommunicated, or even allowed to die, etc. Hell, she even had her 4-year-old screaming at people about this virus. Her 4-year-old. All right? And this shit ruined people's lives and left others destitute while hiking with their masks on. You virtue signaling butthead. All right, now that side is, and on top of that, that side now is claiming that their policies and their humanitarian help is making us all better again. But if you look around, especially at the inner cities and the places that have been in charge, that these people have been in charge for the longest time, well, I showed you those videos last week. The destitution and the just everything run down and rotting. Let's see. Complicated choices. Yes, I agree. I absolutely agree, because these people were not making complicated choices for themselves either. They were making complicated choices for everyone else. Hello, Bobby. Welcome to the show. South Dakota didn't lock down at all. Great! That's great. Apparently she's never heard the phrase tread lightly. Yeah. Yeah, even Jimmy Dore, Yes, Bruin backhand. In fact, Jimmy Dore is absolutely, well, vindicated for one thing. And of course, don't forget, back in May of 2021, he actually got vaccinated injured. I mean, he went along with all of this stuff. And when he got vaccinated injured, he started asking questions, and they started doing smear pieces on him. They started telling him he wasn't invited places. They uninvited him to some places and things like that. He lost a lot of his celebrity friends that he had always hung out with and everything like that. The comedians were against him. Let's see, there was a bunch of newspapers. In fact, even there was something, I think, in the New York Times or the New York Post or one of those that was smearing him about this. And he was like, you know, I'm not necessarily against the vaccine. I was never saying that, but can't we ask questions? They were telling us we can't say anything. He says, I actually was lucky enough to get a doctor that would actually help me out. Finally gave him the ivermectin and helped him out with the vaccine injury that he had gotten, which I'm not even real sure exactly what it was. But, yeah, he has every right to ask questions about his own autonomy. My body, my choice. They're always screaming that shit. Well, let's hold them to that. Oh, yeah, he did. He did. In fact, go to his channel. He talks about it quite often, especially, in fact, he's actually got a segment that he just posted today about this exact same article. I might even be parroting some of the stuff that he said because, but like I say, there was a lot of people that made a lot of comments about this. This is, you see me reading, but this is all stuff that I wrote down. And of course, like I say, since I was personally affected by it, my family was personally affected by it, and still has the chance to be affected by it, I have the right to talk about it. And so does anybody else that calls me, because I know that everybody's been affected by this. All right, everybody should be talking about this. And what fucking nerve these follow the science liars are to expect us to just forget what they did to us and then make it seem like they're forgiving us. For what? Disagreeing with you? Putting up with your goals of our demise because we didn't just bow to your almighty Fauci or Birx, who has admitted, both of them has admitted that they've lied and manipulated information because they hated Trump and his voters? And when I say manipulated, I mean lied, misled, fabricated, bore false witness. Just so what? That they can do it again to us? Go take your begging and shove it where the sun don't shine. All of you. And I'll bet you any amount of money that if you ask this journalist that wrote this article that I just read to you, what she thinks of Trump or Trump supporters, or anyone that voted for him, she would probably do and say and have the exact same feelings as she did for anyone that didn't follow the science or ask questions about their own health and well-being. I bet she would take her 4-year-old, who's now 6, to a Biden town hall, or maybe even to an Antifa rally or something like that, and have him yelling at Republicans and conservatives. Excuse me. Hell, it sounds like he might be a new generation of Antifa. All the while claiming to be for the greater good. That's never a phrase you want to hear come out of anybody's mouth, because it never means what they say it means. It's another communist talking point. Fog, welcome to the show. Make sure you behave. All right. Bruin Backhand says that should be considered a crime against humanity if they willingly lied, especially if things get worse. Well, I'll get to that in a minute, but yeah, you're correct. So no, you may be forgiven because even Jimmy Dore, he was another one. He says, you know, I would probably tell people no hard feelings about this kind of thing or anything like that. He says, but there's no apology here. They're not saying that they're sorry that they made these mistakes. You know, there's no apology here. They're just saying, well, some people were wrong, some people were right. La-di-da, we should just let it go so we can move on. And we can do another thing like this to you again, because that's exactly what they'll do. That's the reason why they're saying this. Shit. So you may be forgiven because that's what we're commanded to do as Christians. But that doesn't negate the fact that you did and said these things about your fellow humans, and you will still be held responsible for your shortcomings, just like everyone else in this life will. And no, I won't forget about shit like this. I'm going to show you a few of these things. This is some of the shit that happened to regular folks because of your lies.
You gotta wear it on, honey. No, you gotta keep it on.
So these next two videos are what happens for the people that were in power, right? And just take a look, and we'll get to the ripping down the flag because the person had an American flag up, but it's okay to have a pride flag. Stand by.
Put your mask on. There you go. Keep it right there.
And keep it on, little Johnny boy.
Hi.
That one brought me to tears. Because this is what they did to people at the end of their lives. Zom, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. Jimmy Dore is good peoples. Yeah, he's good people. I don't agree with everything he says and does. In fact, I get the feeling sometimes he doesn't know exactly what Medicare for all actually means. I'm not sure if he's not old enough to be on Medicare right now or something like that. He should actually call it Medicaid or whatever, because Medicare ain't free. My especially Part B. My husband is on it, and he's had to pay. In fact, they increased it. They increased it before he even started having to pay it. And then every like 3 months, they increased it again and again and again to the fact where we couldn't afford it during the lockdowns and everything like that. And I'll tell you more about that. But yeah. That's really one of the only things I don't agree with him on, all this universal stuff. I'm sorry. He's living off of capitalism, so he needs to stop bashing it. All right. Or this crap here. This is something else. Right now I'm showing you some of the results of you people's of the lies that we kept getting from these experts, these people that were all in it for us. You remember this asshole?
Really? You're vaccinated?
Yes, I am.
Oh, you are? Because I already have natural immunity.
Yeah.
You're not going to follow me around in the store and point at me to people, so I will video you.
So we have a state regulation that...
and it's not law. You're an idiot.
No. So you're...
Now, I made a video about this when this came out. This is another thing that really pissed me off about this whole situation. You had literal tattletales, people tailing people around the stores. And most of the time, I was watching men tailgating women doing this. Absolutely unacceptable. But you guys remember this asshole, right? I noticed he kind of disappeared after we made him viral for picking on a woman, following her around the store for almost 10 minutes before she decided to start filming him. I've got a video about this, my reaction to it, if you want to go down. It's probably about, a year ago now or something like that, maybe a little bit longer. But it's on my Odysee. Just go to my channel and look for it, or type in, oh no he didn't, I believe, something like that, or male Karen, something like that. I'm not going to show you the entire thing, but I mean, this is the kind of shit that was happening. In fact, I actually made 2 response videos out of guys following women around the stores and bothering them about masks or vaccines or whatever. In fact, this guy went as far as going, when he started getting surrounded, or she started getting surrounded by people trying to protect her, in which he was trying to incite some kind of violence against her, in my opinion. He said, when he was asked to explain or something, well, it's our job to gather around and make sure that people are properly shamed for not doing what we, and it's like, now he's telling everybody what to do? Excuse me, get the fuck out of here. And I think that's what I said at the end of the video that I made for that. So if you guys want to see I made a couple of response videos to that, because that kind of thing would actually affect me. Of course, I wouldn't have dealt with it the same way. These women were way too nice about it. Let's see. There's another one I wanted to show you. Oh, okay. Then we got shit like this happening. Check it out. Weird world of coronavirus as shoppers wear crazy outfits to brave the supermarket. And of course, they give you a couple of videos. This guy's in a snorkel mask, diving mask and all that with a bandana and gloves. This guy, I think, went to an Army or Navy surplus store, and you know, this person completely wrapped in garbage bags. This guy, I bet you he got this as a souvenir at one of the NASA's or something like that. Because that looks like a toy. This woman she made her own, they said you could make your own mask, so she made it out of a dirty old sponge. Oh, gross. This person who's completely covered in Visqueen with an air hose out of the top so he could breathe. Another one with looks like a fast food bag over his head wrapped in plastic bags. I mean, come on. Now, I have to admit, some of that's funny. It seems, you know, it seems a little bit funny and you want to laugh at and everything like, but this shit was still done out of some form of panic or fear over the lies and the ruination just to get rid of Trump. And for a bunch more reasons. What did I say here? Oh, okay. Yeah, this is a bunch more reasons I'm not going to forget about this shit. One of the most important, and all of you know about this back in May, you killed my sister. My little sister. And that's at least one of the family members that I know of right now. All right? With the promise of more coming, with all your insistence on the vaccination or else, no life, no freedom, no job. You fascistic, know-it-all, self-righteous pig dogs. And two, you actually estranged me, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, from family members. My mother literally told me not to go and visit her in 2021 if I didn't get the jab. And I didn't. And we've been estranged ever since. That's your fault. And I'm not pointing at my audience. I'm pointing at these people like this asshole that had the nerve to write this article. And three, I'm not going to forget it because I'm never going to allow you to do this fucking shit to us ever again. If I forget it, that means you have the right, you have the wherewithal, or the green light to do it to us again. And maybe under even worse circumstances. You're going to kill my grandson next? Not to mention the fact that I almost lost my house. Because I'm an independent contractor and always have been an independent contractor. I lost out. We figured it out with all of the gigs and everything that we would have missed over those last 2 years, last almost 3 years. We missed out on over $100,000. Which I still have yet to even come close to bringing that much business back to me. I think we're making about, what is it? Less than 30 grand this year. And of course my savings and annuities are tanking. I will have to wait longer to retire if I ever get to now. Meanwhile, you guys keep taking more and more of my money for me to pay for the pleasure of your making us suffer from your bullshit lies. Now, I know that there are millions just in the United States that have lost their homes and livelihoods as well. I actually feel like one of the fortunate ones. Yep, fool me 17 times. Shame on you. That's exactly right. I'm sorry, Feisty. What are you saying holy shit about? The money I lost? Or the fact that I almost lost my house? Not to mention also, too, now that I'm not done. That's not all of it. That's not all of it. They almost killed my husband with this shit because they refused to give him anything other than remdesivir. 18 days in the hospital. 18 days in the hospital. This close to putting him on a ventilator. I wouldn't let them do that. And now, actually, because of that, because they stuffed him so full of that remdesivir shit, he literally has diabetic type problems now with like sores on his legs and shit. He used to be one of the healthiest people I know, and he was like a 19-year-old at 67 years old, if that gives you any indication. All right? Yeah, as I say, they almost killed him. Not only did they refuse to give him the good and anything alternative from that, but they actually almost transferred him to a facility before they even designated the time to, and they were just going to leave him there to maybe not get as good a cover or health or a service as far as that goes. That was another thing I stopped. So you people, especially people like you, made changes in folks' life that will never ever go back. Not to mention all the deaths that you've caused and will cause over the next 2 years. So abso-fucking-lutely not. I will not give you amnesty. I will never forget this, and I may have to forgive you, but I surely will never forget and let you do this or come near me or my family ever again. You can take your self-righteous virtue signaling and butting into everyone else's life and health and jump right into a volcano with it. I myself have lived for, let's see, this year, December 6th will make 56 years? 57 years. 57 years. And I've never needed your help to live or do anything like that. I don't want it, and I don't want it now. And nor am I asking for it or ever did during all of this. In fact, the few times that I actually ever did really need help, you turned me down anyway. So what makes you, the government, and anybody else in that aspect, think that I would follow or listen to any of your laws or rules now? You failed me so many times already in the past. Fool me once, like you said. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, or any more than that, shame on me. Although, you didn't really have me fooled for a second, because the timing of all this coof crap and the way that it was handled and who actually handled it was just another way for the left that they were trying to get rid of Trump. I watched it live in most cases because I was laid up at the time. You guys know about my heart attack. And I had nothing better to do but watch everything that was going on at the time. The experience was one of the reasons that led me to actually decide to do what I'm doing right now. And of course, I'm sure there's somebody out there. The phone lines are open if you want to talk about this, or if you have anything to say about this. I'm surprised not more people do. And actually, like I say, this is actually something that we should be talking about because they're trying to sweep it all under the rug. The last 3 years that have completely changed everybody's lives under the rug. And they don't care if it's adverse or not, while they picked our pockets in the meantime. Pastor Chatelet, welcome to the show. Thank you for the library coin. So, yeah, the experience was one of the reasons, like I said, was why I wanted to join in the conversation and make sure and try to give people the opportunity to also join in the conversation as well. Because this is important. There's a reason why it's called the First Amendment, and it's a reason why they put it first. This is why. And of course, you know, Trump was putting the brakes on their gravy trains, and they couldn't have that. So they sacrificed the most vulnerable humans of the world and blamed it on Trump, his supporters, and those victims, while silencing them so no one could fight back or defend themselves, or even have another point of view. Just like they're actually claiming now about the voting, which I'll get into in a few minutes. But what is it that they say, more than one way to skin a cat? If that were not the case, then why are there so many headache remedies or stomach remedies on the shelves these days? I don't believe that anyone is going to be able to forget these things. And I know that I'm not alone when it comes to the division or the demise of some of these relationships. The families, the friends, people that have grown up together for ages, known each other for years and years and years, all of a sudden just split? Like the person's not the same person anymore? That's ridiculous. Your aim's on that side, and I know this from just looking back into some of the history that we see every time a Republican president got elected. Okay? There's always been to divide and conquer. But you won't do that to us again. And I won't forget, because we know that we know now what you're actually capable of, and what you will what you will do again to gain and retain power over those that you think are too dumb to even realize what you do to them. This whole last few years is what they mean by when they say, by any means necessary. They're willing to sacrifice you while making you pay for it. All right, but I was also one of the very few people who actually saw what was going on at the time in the hospitals, while folks like you and in your field were lying about the hospitals being overwhelmed. I knew it was a lie when I started seeing all these nurses dancing online as well. If they were so fucking overwhelmed and so fucking busy, have you ever been into an emergency room that's busy? These people don't have time to TikTok. These people don't have time to choreograph 3 and 4 and 5 people dancing around on these things. They were bored as fuck, and they were waiting to get their walking papers. Every one of them. All right. And I'll say again, I had a hospital stay during the first 2 weeks of the lockdowns, and my hospital was completely empty. The staff was complaining about layoffs and reduced hours. They never once tested me for coof. And and when I asked them about it, they told me that particular hospital wasn't even taking coof patients. They were referring them to a hospital, I think on the other side of town, which also was not overwhelmed. It never was. In fact, you remember the ship hospitals that were sent to either coast. You remember the pop-up hospitals that never got even full, not even half full, not even a quarter full in some cases. They had to tear them down because they were wasting money on them. They didn't have the money for them anymore. Nobody was using them. Bobby says, yeah, they're running out of grifts and scams. Oh, they'll come up with something else. This is why we need to watch, because they've done nothing but lie to us at all. Now, all of a sudden, oopsie. Nah, not acceptable. You knew this shit. In fact, I guarantee you, a lot of these people that were these journalists and all that, they were paid to tell you this, to tell you this stuff. All right, my first phone call. Oh, Rocky. Talk to the people.
Oh, Laura, how you doing, girl?
I'm doing better now.
So, the reason why I called is I figured it'd be a perfect opportunity for this to continue on this, the thing that sparked outrage in people and lit people up so much was this whole fucking amnesty crap.
Yeah.
So I think, like, that,
smoke almost came out of my ears when I read this article the first time. I was like, are you kidding me?
It was the Atlantic, is that right?
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, so that Atlantic article was, like, perfect. It was actually a perfect symbol to, like, invigorate people on the internet to, like, basically remind each other why the fuck we're so pissed off.
Yeah.
It energized people. Twitter lit up. It's just been lit up everywhere. And so now we're, like, starting to compile this shit list of all the gaslighting and all the nonsense and all the shit that's gone on throughout the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually appreciate that article coming out, because it reminded everyone to stay pissed off about it and to not let it go, because this shit needs to be remembered so that we don't repeat the same crap again.
Yeah, well, they're doing it because of the midterms. They see this red wave coming, and in fact, this was something I was going to go into too. It reminds me of the time when we had the midterms, when Nancy Pelosi was speaker. I think it was during the Obama era, and they were getting ready to have a red wave there too. They were getting ready to lose their asses there too. And Nancy Pelosi literally had the nerve to come out and say, well, when they do win, I hope that they treat us as cordially as we ever treated them, which they never have. This time, I hope she gets her wish.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I've never seen so many people just start to tally everything that was just so fucked up about the last couple of years. It's just like in your face. And it's like these people do need to be held accountable. I don't know that they'll ever be held accountable in the way that some of us in the chat may think that they should be held accountable. But one of them, of course, is voting these people out. Another is to just make sure to keep reminding them how wrong they were and how right we were, because all of us were fucking right. We were all right the whole damn time about everything, about every single freaking thing. And we just kept getting gaslit and gaslit and gaslit. And everything that's conspiracy turns out to be true.
Yeah, well, it's not so much that we were right in that aspect. I don't necessarily, like I say, I'm not trying to gloat here. I'm trying to hold people responsible how they treated us for being right or for even questioning.
Well, I'm not trying to gloat about it. What I'm saying is just how defeating it was for people, especially when you're isolated, when you have everyone around you that's believing it, they're drinking the Kool-Aid, and you're basically seeing all these people get gaslit and believe it, and you're saying something differently, and you're not being treated fair.
Exactly.
So that's all I meant about being right. It's like we were actually looking at things for what they were and reading between the lines and seeing like how bad the propaganda was. And it's just we were thinking for ourselves. And didn't let the fear of, some invisible thing keep us from thinking rationally. Because when people are like scared, they make irrational decisions. That's what happened after 9/11. And so I learned very well from that when I was a teenager when 9/11 happened. And I knew well enough there was no reason for us to invade Iraq. It's like, oh, we gotta fight the war on terror. Okay, we're invading Iraq. It's like, what? And like all these adults, grown-ass people, where it's like, yeah, because they're so scared, because they're like they're constantly thinking that a terrorist is around the corner, and it was on the news, like, I live in Minnesota, and they're like, why we think maybe the Mall of America might be on the top list of next terrorist attacks. And it's like, come on. You think they're going to come all the way to the Midwest and try to freaking attack the freaking mega mall? No. It's like there's such easier targets.
Yep.
But if people are in fear, they're gonna be so much easier to manipulate and so much easier to convince of things that are extremely irrational if you actually take a second to think about it.
Yeah. Well, fear and confusion. They sow this fear and they sow this confusion so that the people get to the point where they don't know what to think anymore, and then they ask, well, what do we do? And that's when they have them. Okay, do this. And then they expect you to do this. If you don't do it, if you question it, oh, well, you're not with the program. You're going to be this, you're going to be that. They start calling them names, they ridicule them, they smear them, whatever. And it's wrong. That's wrong.
Yeah. Well, I won't take up too much more of your time. I just figured I'd spit that out and add a little bit to it, because I know everyone's thinking about this.
Yep.
And I know a lot of people are angry, and to have other people talk about it because they maybe don't have a way to get their frustrations out about it. Everyone's pissed as hell.
Oh, yes.
So I just figured I would just add a little bit to it to help them and to know that, like, dude, or dudettes, we're right there with you, and we feel your pain.
Well, I'm feeling everyone else's pain too, like I say. And one of the main reasons why this made me so angry is because of the fact that we have been watching them lie to us. We have known all this time that they've been fucking with us and screwing us over. And because, I mean, you have, I think, who was it? I don't remember who it was that gave these examples, but this was something else too. Everyone else was locked down while our leaders or representatives were all out partying or getting their hair cut, or going out with friends or doing things, or allowing our businesses and our cities to be burnt down by these fuckheads.
that's where you like started to realize, like, they don't believe anything that they're saying.
No.
Like, none of it.
No, they're acting like the royalty of the that we actually ran from back in 1776, supposedly. Do as I say, not as I do, and I'm going to take your tax dollars even more if you don't, even if you do.
You know, I was hearing, I don't remember who it was. It might have been like Adam Carolla. This was like earlier on in this shit when Democrats kept getting caught like disobeying their own orders. Yeah. And that it was like the people that follow these Democratic leaders, like just, you know, the normal citizens, it's almost like they believe that the politicians are better than them and that they deserve more and that they can do more than the rest of us pissants, you know?
Well, you wonder why? You have people like, what was it, Cory Bush going up there and saying, well, I will get my own police, you know, my own security and everything like that while I'm dissolving y'all's police department because I'm doing all this work and I have to be this and I. It's like, no, you ain't no better than the rest of us. In fact, you don't deserve shit for not protecting your people.
Yeah.
You remember that? In fact, there's quite a few of them that have came out and say, "Oh, well, yeah, I'm gonna pay for my own security out of all your all's tax dollars because I deserve it because I'm working for you and all of this. But I'm gonna defend the police that actually are supposed to be taking care of all of you. But I'm better than you, so I deserve this. No, fuck you."
And when Beetlejuice got her fucking haircut and got caught doing that.
Mm-hmm. Or how about Nancy Pelosi? Oh, it was a setup. Oh, you didn't need to go get your hair washed out and blow dried. You didn't make that appointment?
So did everyone else. And you know what happened in my state? I don't know if you guys heard about that, but there was one woman that was like, fuck you, I'm not going to abide by this shit. And she kept cutting hair. Well, she ended up in this long legal battle, and the judge was such an asshole, and he was like, you endangered so many people. Like, he believed it, fucking hook and sinker. Mm-hmm. He sentenced her to, he threw the book at her. Yep. He sentenced her to 90 days in jail for a fucking...
For trying to feed her family.
For an emergency order, not even a law of any sort.
Nope.
It's like, how the... Man, that shit should be appealed all the way up as far as you can go until they get a ruling that's in her favor. I don't know what's going on with it. I haven't heard anything. But that's just so messed up. And it's like all this stuff where they were reactionary and did things certain ways and punished people. The people that were punished were right all along to just continue to do business as normal. And as we've seen, the statistics have come out that the masks don't work, that the fucking lockdowns didn't work, that the social distancing didn't work, that none of the stuff at all, anything, the vaccines, nothing fucking worked.
And that the goof was actually the flu.
Absolutely nothing that they did worked. Can you name one thing that they did that worked?
No. And that's because they never do. That's not how they operate. Big Pharma, you know their motto. A cured patient is a lost customer. That's all they cared about.
Yep. And it
they
shows
even got
to this
Trump in
day.
on it, if you ask me.
I can't believe there's not more people outraged right now, after like realizing that they've been gaslit, that they were told a shit ton of lies about how effective the vaccine is and how ineffective it is now. They should know by now. If you took it, you should be butthurt about it. If you took it, but like stop taking it. There's like still people that are like, oh, well they've okayed it for 6-year-olds to get it. And there's people that don't have an issue with this. I understand earlier on that people drank the Kool-Aid. I understand. People are easily manipulated. Mm-hmm. But by now, if you haven't added up all the dots at this point, like that lady from The Atlantic did, and realize you were wrong the whole fucking time and none of this shit is right. And we shouldn't be taking this shit anymore because all of a sudden we have mysterious stuff happening and you're still being gaslit, and you should know because they are on the news saying, oh, well, heart heart events, the suddenly that keeps happening in adults, this
yeah,
stuff
in which
that we don't know about.
In which they're blaming it on everything from global warming to going out in the cold. You've seen those articles, right?
Yeah. Sorry, my mom's texting me. It's the anniversary of my grandfather's death, and of course my mom has to remind me of the day that everyone has died ever.
That's weird. Hello, Lizzie Longtoes. Welcome to the show. Appreciate you being here. Those the ones that came in late were actually talking about the Atlantic article about lockdown, amnesty, and all that other stuff. And no, read that article. It is not only is it word salad sandwiches about this fluffy, oh, everybody should just be forgiven, and that they're literally going to do us a favor, those of us that they fucked over with all this, they're literally going to do us the favor to forgive us for being right, I guess. I don't know. I'm like, nah, you don't get to take the high road on this one. No, nope. You will be held responsible, even if, and this was something I was going to end this particular segment with, is even if we don't hold them responsible, I know that our Lord and Savior will. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. I'm just hoping he'll let us watch, because I know that it will be grandiose, I know that it will be glorious, and as a human being, it will be very satisfying.
Yep. And, I mean, to just see how fucking evil people are at this point in the elite people at the top, to just witness how evil they are, it's just like, if there's something so evil, then there must be the exact opposite. I've grown up pretty agnostic most of my life, but I'm not religious, is what I would say. But the main point I'm trying to make is like there's no way we can have what we have without there being a fucking God. You know what I mean? There's got to be an opposite side to that. Yep. Where there's evil, there's good. Mm-hmm. I believe that truly. And you do see that, like, that the hammer does come down eventually on everyone that's evil.
Yeah, a majority of the stuff that we deal with in our lives and everything like that, if you actually simplify it down to its I guess, most spiritual, it's always going to be the perpetual battle between good and evil. That's what it is usually. That's always usually what it ends up being. If you simplify it right down to the nitty-gritty.
Yep. Well, I'll let you go.
Okay, well, thanks so much for calling. I was actually curious. I haven't been around. I've been laid up for the last couple of days. And I've been trying to listen to people, but when you're in pain, you don't want to do anything.
I get it. I totally get it. Well, one of these times, maybe you can hop in on the stream on a Thursday where we're just messing around.
Oh, sure thing. Sure thing. After I get everything all finished setting up, I have to break down and download and upload stuff after I do the show. I don't have to do it on Rumble or any of these, but I end up having to do it on BitChute. So I got quite a few backups because I've been watching. That was actually, like I say, the censorship and stuff was another thing that was making me do this also too. But I realized because of the censorship, I need more than one platform. Yeah,
definitely. I've been trying to encourage people. I mean, it's a cliche at this point, but I want to start saying it is to, like, spread yourself out and try to get on a bunch of stuff. Just because even if you don't use it very much, there's got to be a way for us to all be able to contact each other if one goes out the window.
Right.
Because we have a network that's growing. A network of people that's growing bigger and bigger every single day, and at some point the rug will get pulled out from under us in one of the places where we communicate. So it's good to have backups on that.
Indeed.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thanks for calling, and y'all don't forget to go see his show after mine is over, The White Pill at the Drunken Rocky on Odysee. I'm sure you got some fun stuff for us tonight, and I'll stop by after I'm finished breaking down, and probably after I finish feeding my husband too.
Sounds great.
All right,
see you later.
We'll see you later on. Thanks so much for calling.
Yep, bye.
Good night. All right. Great call, Rocky. Appreciate that. Hiya, Hallie. How are you? Welcome to the show. Wish you could stay longer. All right. Now, one of the things also, too, and like I say, I pretty much finished off the segment, but one of the other things that really bugged the shit out of me, too, was I showed you the video of the poor grandma. They wouldn't even open the door for her. She wanted to touch and see, and she saw she was in a wheelchair. She was probably in her last days. And it made the old lady cry. She couldn't hug her grandchildren. She couldn't hug her sons. They wouldn't open the door for her, and she didn't understand. She didn't understand. And this was another thing. Don't get me started on the grandma killing bullshit that they kept spewing. Every time you turn around, they're killing, oh, you're going to kill grandma if you don't do what we say, while they were literally killing grandmas. How many people died in these nursing homes where they had this brilliant idea to send the infected into these nursing homes? If they would have left the nursing homes alone, they probably would have been okay. But then they started quarantining these people and keeping their families away from them, and they couldn't see their grandchildren. They couldn't enjoy even the littlest pleasures in the last minutes of their lives. Then they wouldn't even let their people come and see them when they died for the funeral. So yeah, this grandma bullshit. Anybody with 2 brain cells to rub together should have known that was bullshit the minute we found out people were dying in the nursing homes the way that they were. I mean, that was just too obvious. And why would they do that? You know why? Because it was just another way to eliminate any kind of opposition to your actual lies of gaining power. Because a lot of the older folks were not only a drag on your system that you had developed for them in the first place, with them being in these nursing homes and things like that, but they know their history. They lived through a lot of the bullshit that you've already put us through, that's making a lot of these cities look like they do, and a lot of these people act like they do. They've seen this stuff over the years. They know what you're about. You just didn't want them to be able to tell anybody else about it, because they have the sauce on it. Let's see. And, I'm not talking about just solely the Democrats either. All right? Republicans have allowed a lot of this crap to happen as well, even if you just sat back and didn't argue any points and did your own thing. Hell, all you all wanted us dead if we didn't comply. A lot of them were also probably aware of the awful changes that you imposed on their once beautiful and prosperous cities. I'm talking about the older people now. And could tell folks that you have never been any good at anything except lying for votes and lining your pockets with your ever-increasing taxes that no one but you and your cronies benefit from. So again, go fuck yourselves with this amnesty crap. All right, I have to say that was a painful segment for me, because it was something that I will live with for the rest of my life. And I'm also a human being. Like I say, I know that the Lord says vengeance is mine, but I do hope he lets us watch, because I know it will be epic. All right. Now for some levity. I found some funny stuff. This has a lot to do with the midterm elections. Trying to switch gears. Can you see the gears trying to switch in my brain? Gearing down, second gear, slow, okay, not really. All right. I think this is Millie, I forget her name, but she has now become a spokesperson for the Democratic Party. Check it out.
Hi, I'm the spokesperson for the Democratic Party, and I'm here to tell you why you need to vote blue this November. It's been a crazy few years, and after getting that former guy out of office through totally legitimate means, we've finally been able to get some work done for the American people. Led by our vivacious president, the country is better off than it was before. Sure, you can't afford to feed your family, but let's take a step back and look at the big picture. The first priority for our devoutly Catholic president is to make it easier to dismember babies in the womb. empathy. Our foreign policy has been, well, perfect. Just a few months after Joe Biden took office, America brought Afghanistan back to its tribal roots, reviving their classic culture. Some people criticize our immigration policy, which is basically to incentivize poor migrants to cross the border by refusing to enforce the law and promising them free stuff. The only way we'll change our policy is if Texas border towns keep turning red. In that case, we'll have a wall up faster than you can say, say Podway. Look, I could go all day listing the accomplishments of this administration and the Democratic Party, but why not listen to our voters instead? Here's what they have to say. Not being able to afford to eat out, go on vacation, or pay our electricity bills has really brought our family together. Literally, we had to move from our 4-bedroom house to a studio apartment. Thank you, Joe. Thanks to you, my daughter is the #1 girls tennis player in the world. Congrats, honey. I don't know what I'd do without Democrats and the teachers' unions. With their help, I get to spend all day telling white kids to hate themselves. Thanks. Democrats' COVID policies forced me to shut down, and honestly, it's fine. It's great. It's great. I'm great. I'm doing well. Things are really good. It's better this way, actually. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm so glad Joe Biden forced me to get the vaccine. I was perfectly healthy, but I didn't want to lose my job. Thanks, Joe. Democrats have been in charge of my city for decades, and while we don't have any jobs here anymore, I can't go out at night without the fear of being murdered, and our water is undrinkable. I still feel really good knowing that my vote helped my neighbor. Somehow. Thanks, California Democrats. Things are going great. You heard them. Democrats are helping real people. But most of all, we're defending democracy by sticking the FBI on our political opponents and sending the DOJ after parents who don't want their 7th graders to read porn at school. See, the Republican Party represents fascism, and the only way to win is to combine the powers of the government, big tech, and major corporations to censor and silence them. Look, it takes courage to vote for the party that every celebrity and Instagram influencer is telling you to vote for. And while it looks like we have power simply because our ideology dominates all major corporations, big tech, Hollywood, academia, public education, the administrative and security states, the CDC, the NIH, not to mention the World Economic Forum and the UN, we're actually the underdog. Remember, the real enemy is Christian nationalism, which we won't define because we don't know what it is.
Because they made it up.
Unity. Thanks to those of you who support us. You're voting for us to save democracy, to bring back normalcy, and to end racism. We'll get right on that. In the words of our president, we're one nation under, the thing, with HWIH and HWIH for all. I'm the spokesperson for the Democratic Party. Vote for us in November.
Yep. That's about the size of it. Let's see what everybody's saying here. She's great. Yes, she is great. Twitter should no longer be on the list. That's true. That's what Hallie said. Let's see. Hey, Raynoth, welcome to the show. Oh, Pastor's back. Is Trump finished talking? Lizzie Longtoe says, we knew people. They just had a little COVID and they put them in hospice. Fucking assholes. Mom's best friend, the family. Yeah, that's what I say. My sister, I'm waiting on the rest of my family because a lot of them were literally forced to get that. In fact, my sister was too. She worked for college. I think she worked for, I don't remember if it was UT. One of the Texas colleges down here. It might have been Southern, the SUT or whatever. But in order to keep her job, and even the thing is she was working remotely, but still in order to keep her job, she had to go get those vaccinations. Her husband's was the same too. And I remember how sick she got after 2 of them. 4 weeks after the second one. Yeah. Fogg says, my aunt had cancer and I could hardly see her because of dead genetic cell material that came from a bat in Wuhan, China, that traveled all the way to Northern California. Yeah, I don't think it was a bat. In fact, didn't they just prove, or didn't they just come around with some research or whatever like that that basically states more than likely it came from that laboratory? Salty Mad Johnson says, I was going to ask if Trump was done. Well, yeah, I know, because Pastor Shadley came in here and said he was monitoring us, but he was also simulcasting the Trump rally, which is fine. Go Trump. Let's see. All right, this was something else that blew my mind and blows my mind actually as an artist. These paintings are by Kai C-Y Twombly, T-W-O-M-B-L-Y, Twombly. One of the most expensive contemporary artists. His paintings range from $2 million up to $75 million. This is what they're calling art these days. Come on, go there. Can you see that? Let me see if I can. Really? Another one. I guess this must be his crayon, whatever. I noticed none of these have any names. I was going to say, yeah, I wish I could scribble on something for $2 million. Whose dick is he sucking? Anybody got any comments? Actually, the comments on some of these are priceless. And some of these actually see some kind of stupid depth in these, and like as if this is some deep, dark, whatever. This means nothing. You won't even see shit like this in nature. Because it's nothing. It means nothing. It's just some person that scribbled on a big canvas that charged way too much money for it, if you ask me. And the thing about it is he's running on the P.T. Barnum, obviously on the P.T. Barnum motto of there's a sucker born every minute. Obviously, if they're paying up to $75 million for this bullshit. Let's see. Somebody says, I think his mind was always jumbled up with thoughts beyond expression, so these paintings came up. But seriously, modern art is difficult to understand. That's because it's bullshit. The artist should make something symbolic so that his work doesn't appear to be trash to most of the people. Sorry to be blunt. You're full of shit. You don't see anything in there that nobody else sees. You just want to be part of the crowd that thinks that they're in on this crap. And it is. It's crap. In fact, if it was made into some kind of a material, I wouldn't even use it to sew anything to wear. I wouldn't put this on a homeless person. Come on. Let's see. It's just like designer brands. A lot of them aren't as good quality as the cheaper ones. And quite frankly, a lot of them are ugly. But people pay for the name of the designer, not necessarily the quality of the work. Have you ever heard of Cy Twombly? Quambly? Has anybody ever heard of Cy Twombly? I haven't. Fogg says, priceless my ass, just a way to exchange large amounts of currency. Indeed. Indeed. It's not painted with his own blood, so I'm out. Did he paint those with his feet? In fact, check this out. This little girl did better than he did. You can at least tell what the fuck she's doing here. It's not, let's see, more comments. Like I say, the comments on some of this were priceless. Some of them got all uppity and, oh, how dare you question this complete work of art. I think if Da Vinci was alive today, he would probably shoot this person. Literally. Let's see. Bobby says, it looks like somebody painted my dog's asshole and he did the butt drag on the canvas. There you go. There you go. 2 minutes to midnight. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Of course, don't forget, this is a call-in talk show. Don't forget also, too, how to support the channel. help me finish paying for this chair, even though I got a great deal on it. And of course, I'm still trying to expand and everything like that too. My husband and I actually had a discussion about this too, and you'd love to hear some of the stuff that he has to say about some of this. In fact, I think we were talking about some musical person that, oh, it was a comparison supposedly between some person that had that was a really good piano player that they played for 30 years or something like that, and became an expert piano player, which you don't usually describe someone that plays an instrument as an expert at it. That's not a musical term. But he was trying to compare it with people like us that go on the internet and do our own research for this kind of stuff. It was actually some musician telling me that just because I've played for 30 years, you wouldn't go on the internet and do it yourself. You could either hire me or do it yourself, go on the internet or do it yourself. And it's like, straw man argument, because music is absolutely nothing like anything else. Not to mention the fact that you got these experts that he wants us to listen to with no questions asked, no nothing. He was basically telling us, oh, if you can't take these experts word for it, and look on the internet for like what we're talking about today, then you need to shut up. Because I'm an expert piano player and you're not going to beat me by just looking stuff up on the internet. Very straw man. And my husband actually got kind of upset about that because he's actually a musician. He actually has played guitar for almost 50 years now. And he's never had a lesson in his life or any of that other stuff. Music is more than just the mechanics and all of that other. And it's like, yeah, you got to have a passion for it. You got to have some kind of soul for it. You cannot compare that kind of thing to us trying to do our own research and know the facts before we do things. And I've known some pretty brainwashed, paid for, and stupid experts at different things. Not to mention the fact that most experts are only experts as far as they're getting paid for it. So, yeah, you can take that analogy. But my husband was like, you should have heard the cover. I can't even repeat it. He was so brilliant about it and everything. You guys would have loved that conversation. So that's actually one of the things I want to eventually do. I've got a little teeny weeny setup now, but I need another computer and another desk, other things to grow so that he can actually be a part of the show too. And it'll still be a call-in talk show, but we love to talk to people about this kind of stuff. And conversations are important. They are conversations and discussions and all that other stuff. How do you come up with ideas? Somebody may have a bad idea, but then somebody else may be able to take part of that idea, add something to it that's a good idea, and make the entire thing a good idea. But you can't do that if you shut people up. That's my idea is the only one that should do anything, and da-da-da-da. No, that's not the way it works. It shouldn't work that way. And again, that's why the First Amendment is the First Amendment. It's important. Fogg says, technically one of a kind, so they can essentially put any price on it, and since it's art on the subjective side, sneaky. Oh, yeah, they've been doing this for years. My only problem is that what do they do with these after they buy them? I'm sure that they don't show them off or anything like that. And like I say, who is this person? Who decided all of a sudden that this person is good enough to warrant that kind of money? Must be some kind of a shill that because it's all, the art and all that other stuff is money laundering anyway. I mean, look at one of the people that they've made into an artist that makes $100,000 or more for childlike paintings. Anybody, can we say Hunter Biden? All right. And like I say, the comments on these are priceless. You got some people that are just getting all up in the air about it. How dare you question that this isn't fine art? How dare you insult my intelligence in telling me that it is? And then try to explain to me what it means. Excuse me, but no. All right, back to it. Lots and lots and lots of D-listers are threatening to leave Twitter, as if anyone actually gives a shit now that Elon Musk owns it and is in charge of it. And I bet they are some of the same jerks who threatened to leave the United States when Trump became president. So that just tells me that same liars, same lie. And of course, you saw how many of them moved their lazy asses to Canada. 0. Here's a list of celebrities Elon Musk has already scared off of Twitter. This is the Western Journal. Published on November 1st, 2 days ago. Let's see. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to go through the names here and their tweets. Because a lot of these people, the only reason why we know that they're leaving Twitter is because they think they're at an airport and they announced it on Twitter. And a lot of them, I saw a meme, a lot of them are staying just long enough to see what people think of them leaving Twitter. And I'm pretty sure, oh shit, I didn't pull up that article. I'm pretty sure that I know where they're going. Most people don't realize this or don't know this, or they were aware of it, but just, I think the middle of October, they just announced that Dorsey, was it Jack Dorsey? Yeah, Jack Dorsey from Twitter had another platform that he was working on, a blockchain type of platform that he was working on called Sky Blue or Blue Sky. They actually have not a prototype. They have a beta for it. I don't know who can get on it. There's an article for it. I forgot to pull it up, but I'm sorry. But I bet I know where these people are going. They're going to follow Jack Dorsey to Sky Blue or Blue Sky, whatever it is. All right, let's see. Sarah Bareilles. Does anybody know who the hell that is? Her tweet was, well, it's been fun, Twitter. I'm out. See you on other platforms, peeps. Sorry, this one's just not for me. If you don't know who that is, she's the one that wrote and performed I'm Not Gonna Sing You a Love Song If You Want Me. One of those one-hit wonders that, like I say, if they hadn't have explained who the hell she was, I wouldn't know. Let's see. Singer Toni Braxton, I remember her, but I haven't seen her since the early 90s, declared to the world that she doesn't understand at all how free speech works when she announced that she too would be leaving the Musk-owned social media platform. Her tweet was, I'm shocked and appalled at some of the free speech I've seen on this platform since its acquisition. Hate speech under the veil of free speech, she puts it in quotes twice, is unacceptable. Says you. Therefore, I'm choosing to stay off Twitter as it is no longer a safe space for myself, my sons, or other POC. Evidently, she doesn't and has never heard about Black Twitter, I guess. I don't know. Is there a Black Twitter? I don't know. No, Toni Braxton free speech protections that exclude what some people find hateful are not free speech protections, and they're not. I would have expected former professional Mick Foley, professional wrestler Mick Foley, you may know him better as Cactus Jack, Mankind, or Dude Love if you're a fan, to be tougher on a pair of musicians, or tougher than a pair of musicians, but I would have been wrong. He declared in a Facebook post on Friday his Twitter account seems to have been deleted, that he was leaving as well, at least for a while. Oh, uh-huh. See? Brian Koppelman, NBC News. Really be pushing the boundaries on the celebrity definition here. Also, he said he might be back in a tweet from an account that is now apparently locked. In other words, he hasn't really left Twitter, but he does definitely want to look like he left Twitter. That's what I say. Most of them have announced that they're leaving, like they're at some kind of fucking airport or something like that. And they're still sticking around. Oh, let me see. A lot of them would die without Twitter. This is what makes them popular. This is the one thing that has actually given them more than 1,000 followers or whatever like that. And again, I've never heard of any of these people. I've never heard of Koppelman. I'm sure he'll be devastated to hear that, but NBC calls him a co-creator of the Showtime dramas Billions and Super Pumped. Again, Brian Koppelman. Never heard of him. Eric Larson confirmed to NBC that he had deleted his Twitter account. Again, I have no... He says, yeah, I left. I said I would leave if Musk bought Twitter. Musk bought Twitter. He told an NBC in an email. So I had no choice. The move only emboldened those most toxic users. The racist patriots and creeps are back in full force. Oh, you mean the people that keep calling you out on your bullshit and your lies and that don't believe you when you tell us that the government has our best interest at heart, or that you do? Like you celebrities give a shit about the rest of us? In fact, I think, they can't figure out why Hollywood's going downhill. That happens when you tell the only people that are actually paying your bills and paying for your entertainment how rotten they are, and how that they need to give more money because they're not good enough for your whatever. People are starting to tell these celebrities to go fuck themselves, and it's priceless. I love it. Larson supposedly has worked in the comic book industry. Of course, another thing I'm not real interested in. Unless it's, of course, the Flip City Mag. I've heard a bunch about that. Somebody needs to get with me on that, because I've heard that I've been nominated for something, and then I heard that I haven't been nominated for something, and they want something. Please, somebody tell me what that is about. Because I've heard that this is for more exposure for the channel, which is great, but also, too, don't forget, exposure. People die of exposure, so I'm pretty sure there's got to be something else. I should at least get a magazine or two. I can't really advocate or do stingers or any kind of thing like that without at least knowing what the hell they're about. I see a few videos on their site. Somebody sent me to their site, and the videos that I'm seeing is just their magazine covers or something like that. I'd like to see it. Can I have one? Can I get one? Can, you want me to advocate for it or even make up any kind of a script about it? I have to know what it's about. I've heard some things, and I know that they advertise on Salty, right? Or Salty's website or something like that, but I really don't know that much about them. I've actually seen more things on the clothing company. They do their own show or something like that. So, and I've actually talked to them. They're actually willing to help me out with a T-shirt that I have in my head. Something that I came up with. I don't know how it would work out, though, so... And I haven't had time to work on it anyway. Larson has worked on the comic book industry. He's done some of the artwork for The Amazing Spider-Man in 1990. So he was relevant, 30 years ago now? Yes, please, please. I hope that you didn't reproduce either, because you're an idiot. Tia Leone, now, she was pretty hot in her day. She's another 80s, early 90s icon. Remember, let's see, publicly left Twitter on Saturday and hasn't tweeted since. The Madame Secretary star. I don't even know what that is. Let's see where we are. Let's see where we are when the dust settles, she wrote. In other words, she didn't leave either. Hi, everyone. I'm coming off Twitter today. She didn't even word it right. Let's see where we are when the dust settles. Today, the dust has revealed too much hate. Too much in the wrong direction. Love, kindness, and possibilities for all of you. Thank you. Tia. XOXO Tia. Tia Leone. Ken Olin. Never heard of him either. Tweeted on Friday that he was leaving. Twitter was as well. His account remains active, but that was the last tweet from it about a week earlier. He had declared on Twitter his intention to wean myself off this soon-to-be Musk machine. Hey, all. I'm out of here. No judgment. Let's keep the faith. Let's protect our democracy. Let's try to be kinder. Let's try to save the planet. Let's try to be more generous. Let's look to find peace in the world. I don't know who that person is, but I guarantee you he doesn't do any of that stuff. You may remember Olin from 30-something, on which he starred back in the day, another early 90s. So these are all D-list celebrities. I don't, because I never watched it, but you might. Yeah, I remember 30-something. I was 20-something when they, I think. So another show I've never watched is Grey's Anatomy. Shonda Rhimes, created by Shonda Rhimes. She's another one. Shonda Rhimes, I'm not hanging around for what Elon has planned by. Again, if they didn't tell me who she was... Shonda Rhimes, which would probably be a pretty good rapper name if she ever decided to switch careers. I always love the I don't know what it is, but I don't want to be of it vibe. It just reeks of open-minded maturity, doesn't it? Yeah, I agree with that. Finally, Alex Winter. Oh, this is a shame to see. This is Bill. Let's see. Yeah, the guy that played Bill on Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Andrew Ridgely is to Wham. He apparently edited his Twitter bio to read "not here" and to link to his Instagram page before deleting his account completely. Well, I'm sorry to see that he turned into another one of those celebrities that you don't really care about anymore. Wow, the self-importance of some of these people, some of these nobodies. These guys are nobodies now. If you saw this, a lot of them hadn't been relevant since the early 90s. That's 30 years ago, guys. I hate to think about that because, I mean, you know, I was an 80s kid and everything like that, but time does fly. Let's see. Yeah, it's almost like, who are you all trying to convince of your fame and worthiness? Me or you? Here's another little tidbit. No matter what these lefty stars want to say, Musk is not our friend either. Have you seen who he's conferring with about free speech? Now, I'm probably going to get a tag on this because he does actually tag a lot of his own stuff. But I couldn't have said this any better than he did, and I didn't have time to do all the research on it. But I do know who Greenblatt is, and I also do know who the NAACP person is at the moment. Listen to this shit.
Leaders about how Twitter will continue to combat hate and harassment and enforce its election integrity policies. And then tagged a whole bunch of different people in here. The first person that he tagged that he's consulting with about how to moderate Twitter is Jonathan Greenblatt, the president of the ADL, who says that talking about open borders being a problem is a secret code word that you're a Nazi.
Mm-hmm. And the last point I would say, caravan, open borders. These are literally white supremacist phrases that have worked their way through the system and somehow landed in the talking points coming out of the West Wing.
The West Wing, he made this statement when President Trump was in the White House, obviously. So just warning about open borders is a white supremacist code word. He's also leading a pressure campaign, trying to get Tucker Carlson fired from Fox News. And I'm sure banned from Twitter as well. Oh, even going on little Brian Stelter's show, trying to gain some support for his campaign. And I probably don't need to point out again that the ADL literally has White Lives Matter listed on their website as a secret white supremacist phrase as well. Elon also...
They never tell you who comes up with these secret white supremacist phrases either. They come up with it. They make this shit up and then try to enforce it on us. It's crap. It's absolute crap. Listen to the rest of this, though.
Tagged this woman who he's consulting with, Jessica Gonzalez, who is the co-CEO of Free Press. Well, what is Free Press? Sounds good, right? We're a nonpartisan organization fighting for your right to connect and communicate. Oh, that's great. So are they fighting to bring Alex Jones back on the platform? Oh, wait, what's this? They lobbied to have him banned from social media. This was back in 2018. Hateful conspiracy theorist Alex Jones is back on Facebook just a few months after the site kicked him off. I think actually what they're talking about is there was still like one of his hosts still had a Facebook page that weren't banned, and they were uploading clips of their show. Urge Facebook to ban him permanently, and then they linked to a pressure campaign. You couldn't make this up if you tried. It sounds like a parody, I know, but it's not. An organization called the Free Press, fighting for your right to communicate with others online, participated in the campaign to ban Alex Jones. Another.
Oh, I hate these commercials.
In the tweet that he's consulting with is the president of the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of. Oh, I guess I can't give you the full name, the real name of the actual organization, because the black fragility in America is so bad that white people can't use certain words. I'll be accused of using a slur. You probably know what the NAACP stands for, right? Only black people are allowed to actually say the name of the organization. But the president over there is Derek Johnson, and he defines white supremacy as being Governor Greg Abbott in Texas, because he signed a bill into law trying to make sure that people are who they say they are when they go and vote. And Democrats say that that's racist and that that's suppressing the vote. And so that's another person that's going to decide. I mean, maybe we should just ban Governor Greg Abbott then, right? NAACP. Also,
yeah, he also
recently tweeted support for the head of the Integrity Department, which is the department that's slapping these false and misleading labels on people's tweets about the election. Yoel Roth, who thinks that all Trump supporters are Nazis.
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck what you think. One of the things I wanted to point out about this, let me see if I can go back here. Something I noticed while he was talking about the tweet from Elon Musk. He also, if you notice this tweet down here under behind him here, down here at the bottom, Elon Musk replying to Elon Musk, the guy he just talked about, and 8 others, which are probably the same people that he's got up here with the NAACP and the Go Justice and all of that. Twitter will not allow anyone who was deplatformed for violating Twitter rules back on the platform until we have a clear process for what it takes, which will take at least a few more weeks. A clear process for reinstatement, I guess, or for what entails reinstatement. And of course, they're going to talk about it for the next few weeks. So don't get this all twisted with this Twitter thing. Everybody's all into this Twitter thing and everything like that. This is another reason why I've never been on Twitter. It's been nothing but drama the entire time. And you don't actually have to, as you can tell, you don't actually have to be on Twitter to see what's going on Twitter. You can actually pull up Twitter on some of these things on yourself. Now, after a few scrolls, it'll tell you to go sign in or whatever like that. But you don't have to be on Twitter to know what's on Twitter. And it sounds like it's going to be even worse now. So again, don't get carried away with this Elon Musk thing, because he's still associating with people that would shut you down. And he's probably going to end up claiming the exact same thing that everybody else claimed. Oh, my private company, my private company. So yeah, Elon Musk is not your friend. You can like him and you can admire in him. He's a great guy as far as all the other stuff goes. I know that he's trying to be as leveled out with this as he can be, but not with the people he's talking to right now. I don't see anybody else in there that and especially the asshole that thinks all Trump supporters are Nazis. Give me a break. How juvenile is that? And how many decisions do you think he's going to make against anybody that votes for anybody other than the blue? How fair are they going to be? All right. Anyway, on a very last note, again, we are up to the midterms right now, coming up on Tuesday. Tuesday for the Republicans. Well, I can't say that. Somebody got blocked for that too. Wednesday for the Democrats. One last thing I wanted to say to everyone out there about these elections coming up next week. They keep saying that the Republicans will be winning and that we're going to have a red tsunami and a red wave. Well, 2 things. First, I think that a lot of the Dems, we saw a lot of these Democrats decide, I'm not even going to bother with debating my opponent. They're not worthy. All these excuses. But I guarantee you it's because of the fact that they think they've been told that they've got it in the bag. They don't have to worry about it. They're in there. No matter what happens, no matter what the voting is. There's no other reason for them not to try their damnedest to do this. If they really want to win. I mean, this is not a winning mentality. It's a cheating mentality. Or a you're going to be placed there regardless mentality. So, because, like I say, they're probably under the impression that they have it in the bag no matter what they say or do. Due to the previous acts that they keep claiming didn't happen, these folks are acting like they have their positions in the bag already. And 2, I know folks are excited about a possible win in this aspect, but it won't happen if A, you don't get out there and vote. Yes, like your life depends upon it. But also, I will believe that we won when I see the Republicans or these people that we want to win being sworn in. We will also have somewhat of an idea based on how long it takes for some of them to count or calculate the votes. Biden himself has been saying that the Republicans are ahead of the cheating game, and the polls claim that all the numbers show Republicans winning. But we all know how badly wrong they were for the last at least two elections, the two big elections. And we've also found out, and that we know that the Democrats are actually financing some of these MAGA Republicans because that they think that their nominees are going to actually take it from these people because they're just too radical on the orange man's side. So once again, I will say that I will believe that we've won the majority when these folks are inaugurated into their post. However, I'm still not going to trust any of them to do much on either side because they never really have. And if they ever solve anything, their monies would stop for that thing. They'd have to come up with just another thing, but they keep and still coming up with other things to take our money over. So I'll believe a lot of this stuff when I see it. When these people are actually with their hands on the Bibles and inaugurated into their offices, I will believe what I keep hearing from everybody. I understand that it's exciting, but it won't happen unless you get off your asses and go do it either. So, like I say, I don't usually tell people anything but to vote. That is your civic duty. That is your right as an American. But this time I'm going to tell you, vote red. And it's not vote red no matter who. Okay? All right, one more joke before I go. And then you guys head over to Raynoth. You guys are going to love this. This is proof that God will use anyone. And it's funny as hell, too.
So you had this old lady that had just moved into this brand new neighborhood. Now, what she didn't know was that this entire neighborhood was full of atheists, people that didn't believe in God. Now, this old lady, she prayed and she prayed loud. The next door neighbor, he was tired of it already. He walked over to her house. He said, listen, man, why do you pray to somebody that's not real? This entire neighborhood, nobody believes in God. She just ignored him and kept praying. Now, one day she ran out of groceries. Man, she prayed even harder. The atheist heard her. He said, I got a trick for her. He ran to the grocery store, bought a whole bunch of groceries, came back, put them on her front porch, rung a doorbell, and hid in the bushes. The lady opened the door, seen the groceries. Man, she started praying and thanking God. The atheist jumped out. He said, I got you. You think God brought them groceries? I brought them groceries. I told you he wasn't real. She started crying. He said, what's wrong with you? She said, because I knew God was going to provide me with groceries, but I didn't think he was going to make the devil pay for them.
That's fantastic.
So you had
I love
this
that
old
guy.
lady that
He's got some great jokes. Some of them are pretty dirty, but I thought that was amazing. And that actually is the way that it happens sometimes. He doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. All right, just a reminder, I won't be doing a Thanksgiving show this year. Not only do I have to work on that day, but I actually is going to have a bunch of family and friends in town that will need my attention. Don't forget to get me your stingers or your commercials for my show or yours. In fact, I think that Badass Brad Allen, which I haven't seen tonight, is working on one for me. I can't wait. He's always very, very creative, and I love his work. Support everyone that you can on Rougarou's schedule. And, of course, thanks, everyone, for the new chair. Thank you so much for helping me with the new chair. I hope to be able to do more work here now. And when I am able to get into my office and work on creating stuff for you guys, make sure to check out the Drunken Rocky show, which is up next. I think he's put on there that they're live right now on Odysee. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for being here, despite the fact that Trumpy was on. He usually says the same shit all the time anyway. I do like his fervor. I do like his enthusiasm, but he really is talking about the same talking points. Vote for this person because the other side is going to fuck you over like they did me, basically. He talks about it. People like it. People like him telling the stories. He's a good storyteller and everything like that. But again, I appreciate you being here. I'm sure that you monitored both me and Trumpy. And I will go and see him in a little while. I'll probably check in on the Drunken Rocky after I feed my old man. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for the donations. I didn't get a whole lot today, but that's okay. Excuse me. Let's see. Yes, thank you for the support. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the phone calls. Make sure you go see Drunken Rocky and the rest of the guys. Let's see. Don't forget to get me your clips for my show or your shows or whatever it is. It can even be a meme, but I want to be able to incorporate. I want to support you guys and shout out you guys as much as you guys shout out me. And of course, also too, thank you, Racist Tranny, this morning for calling me out. I know she's not here either. He's not here either. I'm sorry. It's hard getting used to people changing shit. What can I tell you? In fact, I didn't get a chance. I'm pretty sure that that's one of the things they talked about on Axe Truth. I didn't get a chance to watch that yesterday either. That was something. I'm going to have to watch that while I'm doing something tomorrow. I've got something to do that's not going to be on the computer. So maybe I'll stream that while I'm doing my work. Anyway, God bless you all. God bless America. And until next time, peace, love, health, and music to you all. AMF. Hit the wrong button. Sorry.